Season 3 is here, and there's a lot of news to go over, but for now, my name is Swag, and this is the Vault Day Update. Following all the hype of BlizzCon, Blizzard has clarified some details in regards to their quicker release schedule for expansions that they were talking about. One of the biggest fears I heard coming out of BlizzCon was that Blizzard was going to be giving us less content and making us pay for expansions more often. However, Blizzard has come out to clarify that we will not be giving less content. Instead, they've actually been beefing up their teams and adding more teams in order to keep up with an increased content output. So now, Blizzard has a dedicated team that will always be working on whatever the current content is. So right now they'd be working on Dragonflight content and Dragonflight updates. Then they also have a team in California that is working on the next expansion coming up. So in this case, it would be the War Within, creating all the assets, the story, and everything else involved. And there will be a third team in Boston working on the following expansion after that. This is the team that was from Spellbreak Studio that Blizzard bought out, and we weren't really sure entirely what they were going to do with it, and now we know that this is so that they can have a third team working on the following expansion after the current upcoming expansion. What does this mean? Well, it means that maybe Blizzard will be giving us more expansions more often or content at a faster pace, but it does not mean we'll be getting less content. So I think we can assume that we'll be seeing a less than 2-year release cycle where every expansion will be full with content, but there's going to be no content drought at the end of the expansion, or at least that's my hope. If I ever have to raid Siege of Orgrimmar for 2 years straight ever again, I don't know if I'll ever recover. There was a Dream Warden seed exploit going on this week, and if you took part in it, or anybody who has taken part in it, will suddenly see their account possibly locked for a minute and then rolled back, losing the rewards from their renown. Blizzard has made their stance clear on exploits in the game, so always be cautious anytime you see something that seems a little too good to be true. I'm pretty sure some of our Race to World First guilds have been using this exploit to prepare for the raid, so I'm interested to see how this hurts their chances now that their players have been rolled back. Blizzard has announced a last-minute change to unrated Battlegrounds. They're opening up the option for consumables to be used in Battlegrounds, and so we're going to see what that looks like, and some changes to engineering consumables and some other stuff. Now, this is only for unrated Battlegrounds, but the responses to it seem to be very positive, and as somebody who doesn't do much PvP, it looks like it'll be more fun and kind of add a little chaos into the mix. This Thursday begins World of Warcraft's 19th anniversary celebration, and that runs until December 7th. Historically, these anniversaries will give you a buff to experience and reputation based upon how old the game is. So in this case, for the 19th year anniversary, we'll probably be getting a 19% buff to reputation and experience. I'm hoping this applies to the Dream Warden renown as well, although in the past with similar buffs like the Loam Niffin, we were denied the current renown, but I'm still hopeful that I'll be able to push to 18 and get that augment rune. Of course, I know what you're all here for, and that is Season 3 is starting today. Let's dive into everything going on raiding and Mythic Plus. Editor Swag here. As I was working on the video for this week, I did also update the chart I made for last season, talking about all of the crests, where to get them, and how to upgrade your gear. You can see the chart right here. I'm going to leave it in my Discord as a free resource for anybody to grab. There's a link to my Discord down in the description. But now back to Season 3 news. 10.2's raid Amirdrassil, the Dream's Hope, opens up today. You can find it in the northwestern part of the Emerald Dream. And as always, when a new raid opens up, the race to world first begins. This is a competition to see which guild can be the first in the world to complete the raid on mythic difficulty. If you've never watched it before, I do highly suggest checking it out. The top 2 competitors are usually Liquid and Echo, so check out one of their streams this week. Traditionally, when a new raid opens up, there is a week or 2 break until the first wing of LFR. However, today we get the first wing of LFR with the launch of the raid. So if you want to get a little taste of what the raid is like, you can queue up today for LFR and face the first 3 bosses of the raid. The new Mythic Plus rotation opens up today, and of course, as always, any player that hits 2,000 rating will get Keystone Master, and this season's mount is the Verdant Armordon. And Season 3's dungeon pool only includes 2 Dragonflight dungeons, and not previous Dragonflight dungeons, but in fact it is 2 parts of the Dawn of the Infinite Mega Dungeon, Part 1 and Part 2. The entrance to these dungeons can be found in southern Thaldrassis. The rest of the dungeon pool includes Atal Dazar, which is located in western Zuldazar, Waycrest Manor, located in northern Drustvar, Blackrock Hold, located in western Valshara, Darkheart Thicket, located in northern Valshara, the Everbloom, located in eastern Gorgron, and finally, Throne of Tides, located in the center of Vashir. I'm not sure what the portal situation is this season. Last season, High Mountain did not have a portal, so we'll see which of these ones do. Although, if there are portals for them, I imagine you can find them right to the left of the bank in Valdrakken, where they've always been. There have been no new affixes added for patch 10.2, so if our predictions are correct week to week, then this week's affixes should be Fortified, Incorporeal, and Sanguine. Incorporeal causes incorporeal beings to spawn throughout combat. You could have 0 to 2 spawn during combat, and they will cast a debuff upon all players. The debuff will give you 50% less damage and healing, and then if cast a second time, will double to 100% less damage and healing, basically causing your group to be useless. The cast can be kicked, however, CCs are much more vital on these enemies. Every class is capable of handling it, so when you log in today, the first thing you should do is make sure you take the talents necessary in order to handle Incorporeal. As a Blood DK main myself, I love to mind control them on my DK because, well, once they're my ally, they will now cast their debuff onto my enemies, only for 5% and then stacking to 10%, but it's still quite helpful. And of course, Sanguine. We're all used to it. Every time you kill a non-boss enemy, blood will drop on the ground. Get out of that blood, because every time you're in it, you'll take damage and your enemies will be healed. And lastly, in news today, don't miss out on the White Riding Camel, which you can get from watching Twitch streams this week. And speaking of Twitch streams and the White Riding Camel, you can come watch my Twitch stream all week long in order to unlock the White Riding Camel. I'll be streaming kind of off and on throughout the week. And that's everything happening this week in the world of Warcraft. I'm the go so I can go pound out some dungeons and see if I can get KSM for the first time on week 1. Not happening, but I'm still gonna give it a shot.